to Lifting Leaders Podcast, where we're unleashing leader possibilities to make a better world. I'm Tricia Ryan, and together with Crystal Roberts, we're diving deeper into some of the complexities of the world's most critical challenges and exploring innovative ways of navigating through them.
Through interviews with experts and leaders just like you, we are exploring what it takes to thrive as a leader today and examining new ways of thinking about how to creatively lead into a more equitable, socially responsible, and sustainable future. And the future starts now. So welcome back, Carla and Lindsey and Jeff, to the Lifting Leaders Podcast show. For those of you that are just tuning in this time, listeners, you can jump into this episode, but this is the second part of a really important episode as we think about 2026.
So if you haven't listened to the first part of it, please go back and listen to it. I think it'll really make everything line up.
Yeah,
it's going to be
You'll
great.
get to hear their bios and really what brought us to these questions that we have for them
Most
today.
of you may already know these people. This is a three-peat for all of them.
That's right. They've been here before. So I'm going to dive right into our first question. So leadership today requires navigating complexity, staying grounded, and remaining optimistic. What is one leadership behavior or mindset you believe will be essential for 2026 and making a better world? And Carla, would you mind kicking us off?
Sure. I think the word that comes right up for me is accountability. Accountability. When we go about doing anything, especially the leader, excuses have to be off the table. Blame has to be off the table. Consequences are important. It's one of the reasons that we try, because if I say, oh, I'm going to try to do this, but I couldn't because of them, or I couldn't because of that. And when we say we're going to try to do something and it doesn't happen, there's no accountability, no consequence. Leaders rarely get to the top who have a trying mindset because they don't really have the need to rely on excuses and blame. So, but I think accountability would be one of the most essential things this year, because we do need to develop that, strong muscle of standing up and weathering whatever storms. Maybe we are becoming a little bit weaker as a people, as we were saying in the earlier podcast about expecting things to be bigger, easier, faster, better, because they're given to us that way. So just really holding ourselves accountable for what we say we're going to do and doing it, and not relying on excuses and blame.
Owning it, huh?
Big one. Owning it and standing behind it. Big time.
Love that.
Thank you.
I can jump in on that because you're right, Carla. I've been reflecting on our rich conversation from the last podcast. So definitely echo, listeners, if you didn't jump in on that last time, go back and Carla and Jeff, the things that you were talking about the challenges that we're facing, about exactly, Carla, as you referenced, sort of this idea of things speeding up, this idea of pretending that bigger, better is better, all of these things. I would definitely echo what you say, Carla, and I would add leaders also really need the courage to slow down. Slow down for themselves, to slow down their teams, or everything, to slow it down. So it's, again, not about avoiding work, just as you're saying, how it's not about avoiding accountability, but actually to slow down, first of all, so we can challenge some of those assumptions and reactions that we have. But it's actually also to slow down so we can see the system, Jeff, as you were talking about last time too, right? To really see all of the interconnectedness of the people, the planet, see themselves, all of the things that we're talking about. So in a world that just feels like it is speeding up exponentially every day, and change and all of the things that we talk about, sort of the speeding up, I think strategic slowness is going to become a leadership superpower.
Nice word.
Yeah.
Nice term.
I really like that. I think that's that fits for me as well. And I come back to one of my favorite quotes from the late Edwin Friedman, who one of his descriptions of leadership is being a non-anxious presence in an anxious environment.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yes.
And that has always sort of resonated with me, and something I certainly try to model. And I think part of being a non-anxious presence is not being all hyper and everything with people, right? But just as you're saying, Lindsey, really just slowing down. And I love the piece, Carla, you mentioned about the accountability. I was reminded of, have any of you heard of this? There's a little sort of model out there called the ladder of accountability. So they have like rungs on a ladder, and going from abdicating behaviors to fully accountable behaviors.
I'm writing that down.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. But one of the things, so there's I could just quickly say that the steps are, the very bottom of the ladder of unaccountability is just deny reality. Go into denial. There's not a problem here. There's nothing I need to worry about or face. The next level is blaming others. The next level is making excuses. The next level, going back to my concern I mentioned last week about hope, is called wait and hope. And then you cross over into what they call the beginning of accountable behaviors, which is acknowledge reality, take a stance on whatever's going on, then begin to actually start planning and implementing a solution to what's happening, like just follow through. And I love that model just because it is so practical. And I recall working with a client years ago. It's a company called Northwest Cascade. They're the folks probably more well known, for at least us in the Northwest, if you recall ever seeing a honey bucket on a construction site somewhere. They're the folks that have honey buckets. And you walk into their front office and they literally have a ladder standing there with, on each rung, the different, and this is like a reminder to their staff and their leadership. We have an accountable culture around here, and just it's just like it's like a cultural artifact. I had the privilege of working with their leadership team, and they really modeled that. It was quite amazing.
Wow. That is amazing. Honeybuck is really, I just saw that truck yesterday, as a matter of fact. Well, there you go.
I don't know. There's something about that is striking. The whole the toilet paper conversation we had with Jeff way back.
Yeah. And
recycled toilet paper, people.
As I recall, that was a very long conversation about toilet paper. So all three of you help people make better choices, whether it's that to focus on what to release or how to act for a greater good. Each of you encourages people to take meaningful action. Yet we live in a time when many feel paralyzed or overwhelmed, or even in some cases cynical. What is one question you believe every listener should ask themselves before setting intentions for 2026? And let's start with...
Lindsey gets this one.
Lindsey.
I got voluntold. I love it. I have lots of good questions. I love a good question. So it's hard for me to pick one question, but I can go back to my sort of the
You can ask two. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna stick to the task here. The heart of, again, that appreciatively inquiring, and again, appreciative, again, people think that word means just sort of, gratitude and stuff. Appreciative is an economic term, right? That's why I love that David and others, again, it wasn't called positive inquiry, it's appreciative inquiry, in the sense the double entendre with appreciative of, it's what do we want to grow? And so to me, that's the question. That's the question that I would hope that listeners and carry for themselves, and that I'm carrying into this new year, is what do I want to grow this year, both in myself and in this spaces where I lead. And again, I think spaces where we lead is every space that we're in. It's really every space that I impact. So what do I want to grow would be the question that what I want more of, to create more of, that possibility question.
I love that. Yeah.
I've got a very practical answer to this question. So first off, let me just give a shout out for just even the process of taking reflective time and setting intentions for a year is really important. And, I think people go through these sort of sometimes rituals that aren't particularly meaningful in organizations about set your goals for this year and doing this and doing that. And but I know Christy and I, my wife and I, have had a practice every year of taking some reflective time in the first half of January and really getting clear about setting intentions, and not necessarily like we've got to have a monthly or quarterly checkup plan or anything. We've just found that the process of setting intentions in and of itself is powerful. But the practical answer to your question is, in my mind, before you set your intentions, just do a review of the year and say, what did I learn?
Awesome.
What did I learn out of this past year? And then based off of that gives you some sense of, Lindsey, like you were saying, what do I want to grow into more of? What do I want to, where do I want to focus? What's important now based on that learning?
I totally agree, and I love that. For Lindsey, it's like, how do you know where you want to go? You have to think, where have I been and where do I want to go? And then, Jeff, I feel like it's almost like gratitude, right? Before you even begin setting your intentions for next year, it's like gratitude is the first thing. Thank you. Like, what did I learn, right? What have I learned this year? Acknowledging that. So thank you for the year that I've had, for the failures I've had, for the success that I've had. Like, just thank you for it all. Like, let me acknowledge where I am. And then my answer would be setting intentions. The most important thing, I believe, is motivation. Like, really getting crystal clear on, okay, these are the things that I'm grateful for, and this is what I'm going to do in 2026. What's my motivation to do that? What is driving this desire? Because if you don't have a good, strong motivation, that's where you're going to give up. That's going to be your break in the ice. So, even just for me, writing a book and promoting a book is blood and guts. It's not fun. It really is not fun. It's so much work that you do privately by yourself. And there are many times that I was just like, oh my gosh, like, do I really want to keep doing this? This is so much. I don't have any time to do anything else. And it was so much more than I thought. And I'm just such a huge learning curve and sacrificing so many things. But then I would remind myself, wow, I'm doing this because I'm seeing it change people's lives every single day. If I hit one person that, it's the most amazing feeling. That's my motivation. I'm not doing it for any other reason, really, truly, than to help people to become better versions of themselves. It's like a standard answer, but it's the truth, So I would say the first thing before setting our intentions is to just express gratitude, to even be in the position where you can request more, right?
Yeah.
Just be so thankful that you can ask for more. And then secondly, be really clear about what's driving the motivation for you to have and do that thing.
I love all of this. It's, the whole gratitude thing means a lot to me. Crystal and I have spent a lot of time focusing on gratitude because there's so much that we learn. Even when we have bad times, we learn something in that. And that is a gift. And so for me, that's just one more reason to be grateful, is that I may not have loved the journey I was on at that moment, but boy, what I learned while I did it. And now I feel stronger. I feel like I can handle the next thing. And quite frankly, I think I want to try the next thing, right? But, how motivated am I? It's like, how much do I want to expend to make this next year be what I intend it to be, right? It's interesting. I love the intention thing.
Yeah. So kind of following on that one, from ditching ditties and letting go of what no longer serves us, to trying less so we can do more, to small everyday actions that support a healthier planet. What's one practice you think people should stop doing in 2026? and one thing they should start doing. So what should they stop doing and what should they start doing?
Okay. First of all, stop saying I'll try. Because the minute you say I'll try anything, you're building in the intention and the potential for failure. Okay? So let's try to spend more time together. Let's try to remember to bring our bags to the grocery store, right? Let's try to be, let's try to lose weight, try to eat healthier, try to cook more. It means there's a possibility you may not do it, right? So stop saying you'll try and give yourself put yourself in first place. Don't put failure in first place. Just get rid of that word. And I'd say the one thing that we should start doing is acting first. Like, don't wait for the motivation. We tend to wait to be motivated to do something. I think we should just start doing something and the motivation will follow. So, for example, if you want to start cooking more, go out, buy the ingredients and cook the meal, because once you do that, you're going to go, wow, that was fun. That was delicious. I want to do that again tomorrow. But if you wait to feel the motivation to go out to the store and buy the ingredients and find a recipe, you're just going to get overloaded. You're never even going to begin. So whatever it is that you want to do, don't wait for the motivation to do it. You go do it and the motivation will follow. So that would be my answer.
I love that. Yeah, great.
So I've kind of got another potentially short and sweet answer to this. I don't know if it's, well, I'm using my language to stop myself. I will. Okay, I'm looking at you, Carla. I'm going to.
Yeah, I
I'm just
know.
going to say it. I'm not going to sort of be conditional about it. So I would say less doom scrolling, more reflective practice. And if I could just build on that a little bit, one of the things that I love and hate about my iPhone is it gives me a little report every week of what my daily amount of time I was staring at it. And it's pretty shocking every time I see that every week. It's like, what the heck? I spent over 2 hours a day looking at my iPhone? OMG, right? So, and I think about all the other things that I am intending to do and focusing on and realizing that, boy, I believe that first off, just continually soaking up more and more information is not necessarily helpful. I kind of come back, Lindsay, to your point about, you said earlier about slowing down. Just slow down as a leader. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to have it all handy and whatnot. And when I say more reflective practice, I just believe that for anyone, but particularly for leaders that are really designated leaders, managers, folks that people are looking up to, folks that are accountable for results and to make things happen. I believe that one of the hardest things in those kind of roles is simply finding a little bit of personal time that is reflective, that is not task-based, period. And reflective practice can show up in so many ways. It can be a short amount of meditation. It can be prayer. It can be journaling. It can be just having just some almost half power nap noodle time where it's just not task based. And I think all of us need that as much as we need oxygen at some level.
Walk in nature.
Particularly as the world is getting, as you say, more, what's the VUCA thing? Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. I would add crazy making when I look at the national politics. And it's just so easy to get lost in losing track of yourself and getting lost in the craziness.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that so resonates with me, Jeff, and in a similar way, sort of the advice I was thinking. the stopping for me was sort of the stopping saying yes to things out of guilt, out of habit. That's sort of both literally saying yes, but that's also like our actions of just like, continuing to do the same. Like habits and mindless obligation aren't a strategy. They're just where it keeps us on a hamster wheel. And so very much echoing Jeff, what you were saying with the start, that's where my invitation and thinking of the start is similar of we talk a lot in our work about ditch the ditty and doing what matters of like start giving yourself a pause. It's that reflective practice, Jeff, that you were talking about. Like literally start giving yourselves like ourselves a pause. Like we don't pause. We don't pause to sort of take even 5 minutes to before we respond to an email or let alone make big decisions because again, we feel like things are so fast and it goes back to this slowing down and the importance of reflective practice and everything that we've been talking about. And so to me, it's like, how do we start exactly building the habit of mind and of practice of pausing for however long we need to then so that we can intentionally choose the action that aligns with what matters. So we're not in a try it mindset as you were talking about, Carla, right? So I have that motivation and the clarity of like, it's not I'm going to try this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Because I have paused long enough, whatever that is, to know why I'm doing this, being intentional about it, and that it really aligns with what matters to me. And so to me, it's like, again, it's like the Lego build of life, I guess. Like, right, small aligned actions really compound into meaningful change. It's like we think, how are we going to change our life? Well, we don't change our life. We change the minutes we spend on our phone, right? I mean, it's exactly,
Right.
our life changes and our society, you can scale that up. Our society changes at a macro level through micro practices and micro ways that we show up. And the truth is, right, if we're not intentional about directing our attention with intention, right? If we're not intentional about that, the world's going to do it for us. The world does it for us. And so there's so many things to fill in and sort of the shiny things and the things to flash. The world knows algorithmically, literally, how to get our attention. And so if we're not intentional about our attention, I don't think things change. And so that's the start. To me, the start is that pause to sort of interrupt the hamster wheel habits that we're on, whether that's the deficit thinking we've been talking about, all of these different things, but so that you can at least take a breath, at least, and then, right, sort of get in alignment and clarity and the intention, just like you were talking about, Carla, so that we are not trying, we're doing what matters.
Well, and we've been talking about hamster wheels for years, in corporate America, and how it happened. Get off that hamster wheel. Well, now it's a hamster wheel with a motor, and it's we're like spinning, right?
So it's like a rocket fuel now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I can't even put my feet down that fast. But I think there is in everything all of you are saying, I think there is great wisdom in taking a pause. Taking a pauser is what they used to say in the world of ballets, just to, stop for a little while and reflect on, why am I doing this? What am I going to do? And am I going to stick with it? To Carla's point, my motivation, am I going to stick with this? And do I own this? Am I going to own it? Then own it. Get on it. Do it. Don't stop. But I believe that reflective moment, and it's not reflective, it's sort of, anticipatory, taking a look at where are we going with this and saying, is this making sense? Is this where we need to go? And is this going to help us? I think that is a step aside or back for some corporate world, because I know that I worked in, for profit for most of my career, and that was just not a reality. It was like, no, we need faster, bigger, better, better, shiny. We need it more. And, if the stock price changes at noon and it's not higher, then you're in trouble. So there was a lot of that stuff, and people did we were in reactive mode all the time. This is, to me, completely the opposite of that. This is like saying, stop reacting. Stop being so reactive and start being proactive and start owning your own stuff. So here's a really short question. What's the first small step that we can take?
I'm going to jump in. I feel like every single question you've asked today, Lindsey answered with slow down. I think when you said that, you could literally every single question today could have started with just slow down as the theme of this entire conversation. So one small step that we can take is pick something and begin doing it in the best way you can. So I would say pick something that you've been trying to do or have tried in the past and gave up on, and just start doing something. So if you've been trying to get into painting or trying to find a hobby, or trying to, I love kayaking. If you want to try to get out into nature more, to slow your brain down and connect with nature, watch a podcast about that, watch a documentary about that, go buy a book and read about it. Just start infusing yourself into whatever that is. If you want to be a painter, go to the arts and crafts store and buy an easel and get some paints and flail around a little bit, but feel what it feels like. So for me, it would be to start small and pick something and start doing it.
Even the research is doing something, right?
Oh, absolutely. Even just, Googling around. Now you're in it. Now you're doing it, believe it or not. You're just doing the first step. And that's going to get you excited to keep going.
Good point.
I can build on that with Carla. I love this invitation of doing it and doing it with intentionality. And to me, a big piece of in the doing of it, and maybe our slowing down and pausing, as you said, Carla, our theme here that keeps coming up. I really appreciate this. So and the invitation, right? So in Carla's invitation to do it and not try, but do it, lean in and do it, is also to then I would add a small step of and make sure that you're noticing. Notice what's working, notice where you're getting the energy, notice what you care about, notice the people that are giving you energy, right? I mean, notice as a big piece too of what you're saying, right? Sort of like you keep going toward the energy, right? And so I think that's an important piece, and that again comes with slowing down and pausing. It's like noticing, but I think that that's a small step to start, because I think awareness is our gateway to aligned action, right? We have to keep that noticing, so that it keeps again sort of fueling us to keep going on those things we care about, on the things, the behavior changes that we're talking about, Jeff, that we need to make at micro and macro ways, right? Noticing, well, where is it working? What's happening? How can we learn from that? How can we scale that up now, right? Or scale that down, whatever is the right thing that we need to do. So I'd say really, really sort of turning up the volume on your own awareness of things as we sort of try to sort of start maybe turning down the volume of all of the noise that's coming our way.
Thank you.
I think I have exactly the same sort of response, which is part of that is because I'm a person that has spent a lot of my life priding myself on how many balls I can juggle. And I think maybe it's just part of getting older or something, but it's like I'm tired of managing all those balls. And I don't think that I perhaps have been or could be nearly as effective, without some degree of more focus. And so I do believe that focus is just such a key thing right now. Lindsey, you made a comment earlier about paying attention to your intention. There was something about the interplay of those two words that really struck me that I think is really true. I mean, I'd love to say, here's a first step and, give you some sort of climate change thing you should do, but that stuff is all out there all over the place. People can read that. But I just think in general, thinking about being a leader, carrying agency, is about really maintaining focus. And when I talk about reflective practice, I also think of reflective practice as part of just simply, once you've focused and you've done something, it takes a little space to look back and say, what did I learn about that so that I get learning cycles happening?
Yeah.
And so I do think that oftentimes leaders can be very good at action, at doing things. I think sometimes they can also be very good at planning and then action. But what I typically see the most deficit in, use that word, Lindsay, sorry,
All right.
in leaders, I think what is the weak link around that learning cycle is having just a space and a place to be able to stop and reflect and say, based on that, what did I learn and what do I need to do next?
Yeah.
Literally just creating a space for that as opposed to just, I used to work at a large aerospace company located somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. and sometimes some of the leaders there would joke about their management style was do thrash. And I think what's more useful is being able to actually plan and do, and then have some reflexive study around what we've done, and then make the right adjustment. Some of you will recognize that as a classic process improvement learning cycle, but literally just anything new that you're doing and trying out, creating the space to have learning emerge from that.
That sounds a bit PDCA to me.
PDCA,
Plan, do,
you
plan,
got
do,
it.
check, act, right?
Plan, yeah, or actually the kind of gentler version in healthcare is called plan, do, study, act.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I think we could, continue this conversation for days, but we are going to close it here. So thank you, Jeff, Carla, and Lindsay. Your wisdom, your courage, and hope continue to shape the heart of this podcast and the leaders that we serve. And we so appreciate you taking your time to be here for 2 episodes. It was fantastic.
It was amazing. So as you step into 2026, may you set intentions that honor your well-being, ignite your purpose, and contribute to the betterment of the world, one meaningful action at a time. Until next time, let's keep lifting leaders everywhere.
Hi,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
having us.
much.
Yeah. I'm Lindsay. I'm so sorry about the passing of your father unexpectedly. Jeff, whatever your family's going through, just sending you all well wishes, and they're lucky to have you. You are such a calming, soothing person. And
Carla,
girls.
your energy is amazing. It is. And honestly,
Egypt.
your
Or what?
message is keeping people moving forward.
well, thank you, and thank you so much for including me on this panel today. This was so fun and so great, and I learned a lot. Like I truly did. I'm going to slow down. Number one.
But don't stop doing.
But I'm not cry, Carla. I'm gonna do. So we're in it together. So
Oh, you
Yeah.
loved it. Oh, you guys.
Recording stopped.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
This was
thank you.
great.
That was amazing.
It was 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I felt my heart felt full in the first episode, and seriously felt like we had some direction. And I loved that interaction, right? They did a beautiful job. They danced. And
They danced. I love that term. Yeah, that's really what it was. It was really inspiring just to watch how they interacted with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. And this last section here has just been so wonderful. I love that the steps that they offered are doable steps. They're not asking anybody to go out of their way and do something that is going to maybe be something they don't want to do, right? Or something that they just put on a shelf.
Yeah.
This is just a lot of reflection, a
Yeah.
lot of thinking of, self-reflection is always important, but at this time of year, it seems vitally important, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait till our episode next week when we will be unpacking some of our kind of key learnings and insights that came from those 2 episodes in our first Gems episode of the year.
Yes, it will be our first, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
I always love it when we do gems.
I do too. It's that reflective practice,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
between the two of us. And who knows where it's going to go sometimes. No, it's great.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. Reflective practice can be with others as well, not just alone.
You know, I don't think I've ever put much thought to that, but you're absolutely right. And in fact, that's, I think when you think about it, that's often what people do when they're having coffee, get together and have coffee, do a little reflective practice, or maybe they could start, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. So we have a challenge.
Yeah, in the spirit of our focus this year and doing a few things in a new way, we are giving you a challenge at the end of a series or at the end of an episode.
Yeah. And, we usually write little challenges in our show notes, but I think I like the idea of us doing this in the podcast. And the challenge for this last 2 episodes, let's say, or for this time in the year, is before you really set your goals for 2026. If you've already started, I'm sure that this would be a great reflection for you.
Yeah, I think if you've already set your goals, I know I have not set goals, but I've set intentions. It gives you a chance to kind of go back and look at that and say, would this, if I did this practice, would it change anything?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe it might, right?
It might, yeah.
Yeah. So as you're setting your goals for 2026 or reflecting, take a pause, practice a little strategic slowness.
Yeah, I love that.
Which reflect on your past year. So taking a look at last year, your intentions there, and the actions that you took related to them, the questions you might want to ask yourself, and we hope you'll ask yourself, is, what did I learn? What do I want to do more of? Where do I want to focus? And what's important now based on this review I'm having of last year?
Yeah.
So we hope you'll do that. I'm actually going to redo my goals. I just started on them actually about a week ago based on our discussion in our opening for the year. And I thought, I really need to have some goals.
Yeah.
And I do. I feel a lot more in control when I at least know the direction I've set for myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So send us a note. We'd love it if you'd respond to our LinkedIn post of this episode and share in the notes or in the comments what you're thinking about for 2026 and what did this new practice of strategic slowness, reflecting and then taking action, does that change anything for you?
Right.
Yeah. And also on Instagram and Facebook, any of your comments there.
I was about to say that. I was going to say, if you don't hear about this through LinkedIn and you hear about it or you look at it on Instagram or Threads these days, right?
Yeah.
Please just send us a comment or let us know how it went for you. We'd love to hear that. And it might be inspiring for someone else as well.
Yeah. As we wrap up today, we have more amazing guests and episodes coming your way, so be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. And if someone you know would enjoy this episode, please share it. Text it, email it, or post a screenshot and tag us at lifting_leaders. To learn more about us, our guests, or our leadership coaching, visit liftingleaderspodcast.com, where you'll find our show notes. A big thank you to R.A. Chance Roberts for his technical support. If you haven't already, please take a moment to follow the show. Just tap the plus or follow button on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're willing to leave a 5-star rating or review, we'd truly appreciate it. Thank you, Trisha.
Thank you, Crystal,
for another great couple of episodes here.
Yes.
And thank you, our listeners. Find ways every day to lift each other up. Have a fabulous week.